Yeah, so there is my team. Dr. Mary will
Wonderful.
be on any moment.
All right, well,
Sorry
let's
to
get
put it
started.
that
I
way.
see people here joining. We've had a good crowd. Welcome, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. This is the Global Opportunities Power Hour, where we hold every week on Wednesday to host and feature and highlight our global members to talk about trade opportunities, how to do business around the world, and also to get insight and information that is essential for the growth of our businesses globally. My name is Jennifer Barbosa. I have the honor of sitting as the co-chair for the Global Opportunities Committee alongside our fearless leader, Ricardo Beris. He is on travel today to South Africa. He's on his way to Joburg, and I will be joining him tomorrow. And I'm happy to host our guest today, along with our leader, regional lead, David Jeb Kutusi, Kutusa. Did I say it right?
Tessa.
Kutisa.
Tessa.
Kutesa.
Tessa.
Who
Extended
will be
Kutesa.
helping Kutesa, who will be helping us in hosting our guest speakers to share about Mauritius and how to do business and the different opportunities there are between the region of Africa and here in the US and all over the world. So, David, I'm going to give you the mic so that you can go ahead and introduce our honorable guests and talk more about how to do business with your region. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody in the States, and good afternoon, good evening from around the world. Good evening to Mauritius. Good afternoon to Central Africa. Like Jennifer said, my name is David Jeb, and I am CEO, chairman for Quantum Ver, and then two other entities, DDG Holdings, Devenir Group, and a few other entities in Spain. I have the opportunity to stand here or sit here and talk to you about Central Africa and Mauritius and how the global community can take advantage of this. I will not dwell so much on Mauritius, and I will not even dwell so much on how to enter Mauritius, because Honorable Sven will tell us everything about Mauritius in a few minutes, and Junaid will tell us everything about how to enter and take advantage of Mauritius. I'm just going to focus on combining the opportunities at hand in the central region of Africa and in the Indian Ocean islands. The Indian Ocean islands are earmarked in this case to have Madagascar, Mauritius, Seychelles, Reunion Island, Comoros, and Zambia. And Zanzibar. Whereas the Central African has about a collection of countries, including Congo, Cameroon, Republic of Congo, DRC, Cameroon, Central African Republic, Chad, a couple of other countries there Angola, that we will dive into. The opportunity at hand is the clarity about Africa being the next frontier for global investment. Whereas Mauritius and Central Africa hold a unique complementary role in this effort, and I'm going to show you how. And the goal here is to unite nations, investors, and the global Black community to capitalize on the opportunities that lie in Central Africa and the Indian Ocean island, which is what I'm overseeing. Let's start with Mauritius. It is a financial hub. It's a center of business excellence and a diaspora excellence, a gateway for the diaspora. But the last one there, I want to start there. It's ideal for instance, Black investors to channel resources into Africa. You don't want to come from Europe or the West and go straight to Africa. A lot of things are just not compatible. Mauritius being a United States of Africa of sorts, having diverse cultures there from Asian, Indian, Arab, Chinese, even the West, Belgian, French. It's a multilingual zone. Is a place to start with. You start there for one reason, to acclimatize yourself with the African environment, because it's semi-Africa, as we call it. It's a demi-Africa of sorts, so if you like. So you start there, you acclimatize your business structure there, you set up there, because the financial environment there is compatible with the West and compatible with Africa. That's why we call it a gateway between the world and Africa to the world. So that's key to know. So we call it the diaspora gateway because that's where everybody who comes from elsewhere should start before they jump into Africa. If the people who have dared to go straight into Africa have come out with most of them have come up with their noses bleeding because it's a very different animal out there. But things are changing right now, and it's a good. But Mauritius is a very good settlement. The financial hub situation is that the banking systems in Mauritius are acquainted to the West. They're well networked. The correspondences are excellent. The environment. Basically the people understand the banking structures, complex banking arrangements are understood in Mauritius. And I've been living there for over 10 years, so I know, and I've done business there. So I know exactly what I'm talking about. So the encouragement here is that we should take advantage of Mauritius in that way. And business excellence. I mean, management companies are there. You have a lot of, I don't know how they call those, the centers that actually manage companies on your behalf. You could actually have a switchboard in Mauritius while managing 40 entities all around the world. I've seen that happen too many times. And people are multilingual. They speak different kinds of languages repeatedly, as we've said it. And so going back to Central Africa, it's a region that is replete. It's a region that is replete with the abundance of resources. It's strategically located in the center of, as a region. Central Africa will connect the north, the south, the west, the east, East Africa. So I think it's a very pivotal region that investors from all over the world in the global Black community should put focus on. And they have untapped markets. There's over 200 million people there who have a dynamic workforce, and they're actually expanding a consumer base. Is to say that it's no longer a backward environment. It is an environment that is coming up, that is getting purchasing power, that is getting more acumen about. The media has increased that, the internet has increased that. So it is now a relevant market to the rest of the world. So the Black community, I think, needs to have focus in that regard. So the opportunities available, and I want to put our focus here. We need to have a look at the infrastructure in Africa. If you're looking for where to invest, look at investing into infrastructure to improve connectivity and market access within the region, also connectivity along the other locations. We need to invest in industries like mineral processing, green energy, and agriculture. I mean, I know this because I'm part of a small conglomerate that has mineral processing refineries. There's one in Mauritius, actually, and I'm working very closely to ensure that becomes actually a very central facility for the rest of the African continent. Several refineries in the African continent, but there are the reasons why we're trying to make sure that we go that direction. And so we're investing into processing factories, green energy, agriculture, which is a very key area. The food security is dwindling daily in the rest of the world. And, Central Africa is a very, very vast and vivid area. Somebody said that the energy resources in Africa, in Central Africa, can actually sustain the world for centuries to come alone, Central Africa alone. So this is somewhere, if you want to invest in agriculture, mineral processing, green energy, that's a good field for you to go. And we need to also invest somehow with partnerships in strengthening governance to ensure stable investment environments in Central Africa. That should help both the incoming and the outgoing, which means the backward and forward linkages, which means all the international partnerships, global partnerships, geopolitical partnerships that we can set up there. For the global Black community, I think we need to be able to pool resources so that we can be able to lead Africa's industrialization and revolutionization, the economic federation, or transformation. The second thing is that we need to partner. We have partnership initiatives with organizations like the Global Opportunities Committee, which is really central, which is key, because if we come in as individuals into an environment, we often knock our heads on the wall. But with organizations like the Atlanta Black Chambers, the Global Opportunities Committee, which is now budding everywhere in the whole of Africa, we can come in streamlinedly, organizedly. And I recommend that everyone, either on this call or people that that are trying to get into the African continent, come to network with the Global Opportunities Committee. Facilities are there and resources are there, and it's something that's very important. I saw synergies between Mauritius and Central Africa. Mauritius, with its financial expertise and tax advantages and investment structures, facilitates global Black investors, can do that. Facilitates global Black investors into the African community. like I said, you don't just want to take all your money into the African continent. Remember, so most of the Central African countries are actually either on sanctions or restricted in different environments. So going through Mauritius sanitizes that, because on the other hand, Mauritius has what they call double tax agreements with them. Maybe the Mauritians will tell us a little bit more about that. Whereas Central Africa offers everything that the world needs today, from mineral resources, from oil, cobalt, gold, copper, and all these things. So these are the things that are changing and influencing the global industrialization structures of our time. So my proposal is that we come together under one organized entity, which in this case I will name the Global Opportunities Committee, that we take advantage of these vast synergies that have been created between Mauritius, Africa, Central Africa, and the rest of Africa, indeed, the rest of the world, actually, as maybe Honorable Sven will be telling us, so that we can capitalize on what is available. And this is the call to action. We need to think ownership and empowerment. That as a black investment community, we come into Africa and bring a pool of resources to make sure that we take advantage of that. Otherwise, if we leave it to those that were once there, we will end up where we are as Africa. But if the people that are investing change, the kind of people that are investing change type to relate to exactly what is down in Africa, who is down in Africa, I think we stand a better chance of success. Now, if we can unite as investors, as nations, and the diaspora, we can rally behind Central Africa's vast resources as a frontier for industrial transformation in Africa, development transformation in Africa, and have working and functional partnerships between both ends. We will have a better settlement. And in conclusion, I'll say this. Mauritius and the Central Africa pivotal, and they can make or break the continent. The global Black community needs to seize this moment right now. I think it's more profitable for us to come into Africa and do what other people have failed to do to Africa in the disguise that it was. Thank you.
Thank you so much, David. Much appreciated. So we have several guests on our panel to discuss opportunities in regards to investments within Congo and Central Africa, offshore business and fiscal investments in Mauritius and the Indian Ocean. And we also have other guests who are discussing corporate structuring and business growth, as well as entrepreneurial and business success stories within Cameroon. David, I would let you introduce your good friends who are joining here on the panel so that I don't make anyone a disservice in regards to pronunciation, because I think it's very important that we honor everyone's name. And so I don't want to dishonor anyone. But I much appreciate the opportunity. I think this is something that we as Black businesses globally need to be aware of. We have to get ahead. We have to capture these opportunities and make sure that we take full ownership of our motherland and the opportunities that come before others, so that we can take control and ownership of our own futures. So David, go ahead and take it away.
Thank you so much. I was told when I was growing up that age comes before beauty. So I'm going to relegate Mr. Junaid a little bit later. And then, of course, our beautiful friend, Dr. Mary, later, much later. So let me start with Honorable Sylvain Siloyi. He's been in the economic transformation world for several years. He's a diplomat, he's a career politician. He will tell you all about it. But in a very few minutes, I'd like us to tell us about the Mauritius, specifically Mauritius, and the environment, how we can take advantage of as global investors. Later, I'll get to Junaid. Thank you, Honorable.
Thank you, my good friend David. Dave, thank you so much. Thank you, Jennifer, to co-chair this virtual meeting, and also thank to all our virtual global participants who are participating to this conference. So I wish a good day to you all. On my behalf and on behalf of the Republic of Mauritius, I here express our gratitude to my good friend David Jem and the Opportunities Committee members who got the brilliant idea to organize this panel discussion to help accelerate investment and business with Africa and towards Africa. With your permission, I will share with you the paradise of Mauritius, a dream for all investors and honeymooners. In this special context of intense geopolitical positioning in the Indian Ocean, with instant debate in the US, the UK, India, China, as well as a BRIC, Mauritius is still being seen as a key of the Indian Ocean. It is of a strategic importance because of its geographical position. The Republic of Mauritius is reclaiming its past glory as a secure and prime business hub between Asia and Africa. It is a bridge, a fast developing logistic platform with modern infrastructure. Mauritius sees itself as a Singapore of Africa. It is obvious that Mauritius plays a pivotal role in collaborating to revitalize business and trade between Africa and between Africa also with Asia for greater good and shared interests among ourselves. Mauritius is developing a partnership of equals among the African brothers and sisters, promoting sustainable development with shared value for our 2.7 billion population, which consists of a dynamic youth with great appetite for entrepreneurship, and I have been able to test it, to verify it during my visit. But of course, there is support to be given. To our dear global audience participating, the world is witnessing serious war crises in the Middle East, Ukraine, etc. However, every crisis creates two things, problems and opportunities. We Black people, we need to see Africa as a future. Africa has significant growth potential, and that's why we are having this panel discussion. Let us together overview the African continent where business exists. The African countries are full of natural resources, opportunities, which my good friend Dave just mentioned. Several biggest opportunities exist in Africa that will define the rest of the new decade. These opportunities will inspire our new business ideas, spark creativity and innovation. Some opportunities are quite familiar, but some will shock you. Africa is a new era is open. Business opportunities are based on serious but unsolved problems, undeserved, ignored needs, and growing consumer demand in this continent. Opportunities in several sectors. Let's take, for example, the food sector, with over 2 billion mouths to feed, worth over 1 trillion by 2030. The food sector is one of the biggest opportunities in Africa. Africa produces a lot, but the transformation side is most often ignored. The value added is ignored. Here are one opportunities. Second example is the health sector. The COVID-19 pandemic proved just how fragile Africa's healthcare system really are. Africa doesn't have adequate hospital and healthcare infrastructure. There's only about one doctor for 5,000 people, while the global average is 6. A telemedicine revolution represents a huge opportunity, and I call of all talented investors to look around it. Another example is the housing sector. Africa being currently the fastest urbanizing continent, these people need a roof over their heads. Unfortunately, most of them end up in slums or informal housing arrangement, not to say under a bridge. We have work to do. The unmet demand for affordable housing in Africa is estimated around 1 trillion USD. The finance and the insurance or the reinsurance business have a huge potential. And this is where Mauritius is positioning itself as a financial route. However, there are challenges that affect negatively sustainable economic development that need attention. I will not go to it today, right? But of course, a number of ingredients is needed for success. Good socio-cultural respect, women empowerment, political cohesion, respect for environment. Allow me to come back to Mauritius as a trade and services, because since the history of Mauritius, we have seen the spice route, we have seen the slave route. A number of slaves were coming to Mauritius, routing to Mauritius before going elsewhere. The petrol route, petrol come to the Indian Ocean before going out. Now, Mauritius, as I mentioned, is positioning itself as a financial gateway as a route, right? I will not go in detail about the history of Mauritius, but I wish to mention one thing. When it comes to the service industry, the Republic of Mauritius stands as a prime business hub between Asia and Africa. We have built up leadership, and this is a basic of our success. Mauritius is a bridge, a fast developing logistic platform. Allow me to give you some very quick details. Mauritius is a world-class port with deep water, modern international airport with connection all around the world. We have, the island is fully 5G connected. Income tax is to 15%, whereas it is very high in a number of countries. We have double treaty agreement, tax agreement with a number of countries which help investors. There is no capital gain tax. There are tax-free dividend in our country. And there are duty and VAT-free on a number of things. Visa on arrival is given for most countries. You don't have this headache of visa process. We are a law-abiding island with political stability, with an election, mandatory election every 5 years. There is a security of assets, security of property for any individual. The country is listed first in Africa for doing business. It is a jurisdiction which is promoted all across the world. We have over 43 tax treaties to develop this country. We are a bilingual country, English and French. We have very qualified skilled workers. So this is what I want to share with you. Mauritius is positioned globally as the 13th country for ease in doing business. We have one of the largest maritime economic zones. I can continue a lot, but I will conclude here to abide according to the time. Mauritius is your secured business hub, as it has always historically been. It is a strategic outpost for all your business activities. We are promoting here the work, enjoy, and stay in Mauritius. Getting the residential permit in Mauritius is not a difficulty for business, for investors. I invite you to explore opportunities, and myself, as the chairman and founder of the Asian African Chamber of Commerce, I'm here to welcome you and to give you real attention to facilitate business here. So this is what I wanted to contribute, and I'm sure we have a lot to do together. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you so much, Honorable. Thank you very much. According to that was a powerful, short, impactful presentation you gave over there. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to take your throw your attention over to, and we'll have time for questions when Jennifer permits it. But for now, I'm instructed to push you over to uh, the gentleman who's going to tell us how to slide ourselves into Mauritius, so we can have full access to the rest of Africa. Now, this gentleman I've known for years, I think long, 5, 7, 8 years maybe, and I've known how he operates. He understands the industry. He's led corporations in that regard, and now he's facilitating enterprises, foreign investors to get into Africa, the African region to do business, solid business, and most of them are still going on. He has helped register hundreds of companies in the Mauritius, financial environment. So I want us to hear from him very briefly. His name is Mr. Junaid Mohammed. Let him tell us what he has in store for us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dave, Chairman. Thank you so much for the introduction. Hello, everybody. I will not jump into what our good friend Steven put in a very beautiful picture of Mauritius as a country, as an island. But this can be summarized by what Mark Twain said on Mauritius, where he said Mauritius was made first and then heaven, and heaven was copied after Mauritius. So that summarizes exactly what Mr. Steven just said. And for years, for decades, we've been known for our beautiful beaches, the sand, the sea, the resort, the good food. This is what Mauritius has been known. When you go on the internet, you will see the beautiful beaches. I welcome all of you to Mauritius to experience the beautiful beaches. Mr. Jeb has been there and he knows what I'm talking about. But you would be surprised to know that Mauritius is actually a vibrant economy. It has transformed itself from agriculture, from textile, from sugarcane, tourism, and now focusing largely on the financial services sector. Currently, we are termed as the Mauritius IFC, the Mauritius International Financial Center, offshore jurisdiction for some, and wrongly or badly tagged as tax haven in the past when we look at that in that perspective. But things have changed. Mauritius itself as a jurisdiction is actually part of the COMESA. It's part of the SADC. It's largely compliant with all the OECD requirements, and it is also part of the EU initiative. So basically, a jurisdiction that promotes investor friendliness, it promotes asset protection, it promotes also the ease of doing business, as rightly pointed out initially. So on the back of solid foundations that Mauritius paved the way through for the last few decades, now Mauritius is a strong jurisdiction for structuring and also for investment. The gateway to Africa terminology has been used wide around the world, and we are always looking for doors that can open all the opportunities that lies in Africa. Structuring in Mauritius, doing the business in Mauritius, having a company in Mauritius is what Mauritius is known for now. There are other jurisdictions that like Seychelles, Cayman Islands, but Mauritius for Africa is the gateway to Africa. Besides all the international accolades, first here, first there, first in governance, first in ease of doing business, we pride ourselves with all those accolades that we've got throughout the years. In Mauritius, basically, what happens is when any investor or any person who wants to do business in Africa, they are actually very cautious about going directly to Africa. And as rightly pointed out by the chairman earlier, Mr. Dave, is that having the structure in Mauritius gives some sort of protection because of the various agreements that Mauritius has with numerous countries in Africa. I can't name them all, but what I see on the website here, you've got Uganda, you've got countries like Rwanda, Madagascar itself, Ghana. So a lot of countries have their double tax avoidance agreement with Mauritius, and also what we call investor protection agreement. So structuring in Mauritius is what Mauritius is known for. Having your company in Mauritius, having a corporate structure in Mauritius, whether it's a company, it's a fund structure, or whatever license is required. I'm going to go into details about the opportunities of licenses that you can get to operate from Mauritius. But short to say that when operating in the Mauritius jurisdiction, for business purposes, you will be operating in a highly structured, regulated environment where investors feel comfortable, where people putting their money and doing their own business feel safe, and the jurisdiction itself is a very stable economy, as we all know right now, whether it's financial stability, political stability, economic stability, you name it. So right now, Mauritius is the jurisdiction of choice to set up structures focusing largely on Africa or in Africa. How it works is basically, anybody who wants to do business in Africa will have a company in Mauritius, will have to set up a company in Mauritius. It can be 100% foreign owned. So you can be the sole shareholder of that company. And then in Mauritius, you do business from Mauritius. So the principle is that you have your company in Mauritius, but the main activity is being carried out outside of Mauritius. So your money, your structure, your governance framework, your board, everything is done from Mauritius. From a corporate perspective, but the real business activity is being done in Africa, whether it's trading, agriculture, investment, holding companies, headquarters, you name it, whatever business opportunities that you find in Africa can be done from Mauritius. So that 100% foreign ownership guarantees that you have full control over your company. And besides, there are certain requirements where you can have, you must have certain substance requirements in Mauritius, because make no mistake about it, because of the past wrong perception that countries like Mauritius were seen as tax haven because of its low tax rate of 15%. Corporate tax, whether it's for individual and for corporate, it's flat at 15%. But that 15% is the maximum. Whereas tax rate can go as low as 0%, because depending on certain business that you do, if you've suffered tax elsewhere in the world, these can be claimed in Mauritius, and your tax can go to 0%. And generally, for certain activities, depending on certain requirements, your tax rate can go to 3%, 1 to 3%. So this is the advantage that the Mauritius economy provides. But obviously, it has been wrongly seen as a tax, but it's not, because it is a jurisdiction of substance. And that foreign ownership guarantees that you have control over your company. You are bound to follow the rules of Mauritius in terms of governance, and it's very much strict on governance. What you call KYC, AML, for those who know your client, anti-money laundering policies. So all these are very much embedded in the Mauritius jurisdiction. What is interesting also about Mauritius is why you would want to have Mauritius is to have a bank account. And it's very difficult to get bank accounts elsewhere or even in Africa. And the good thing about Mauritius is you've got no exchange control. So it's a free flow of funds, whether money comes in, money goes out, it's free flow. There's no exchange control, obviously subject to certain requirements, many at the bank level. We all know how banks operate in the world. So we need to follow the bank requirements, but there is absolutely no exchange control in Mauritius. And from Mauritius, the advantage, the possibility from Mauritius is that you can actually set up a company that will suit your business purposes, whether it's a simple holding company, for instance. You want a headquarter in Mauritius. You want to have a trust or a foundation in Mauritius. There are special licenses that you can have from Mauritius, and it's highly regulated. You can do fund structures, collective investment scheme, or proper hedge funds in Mauritius. Also, you can have investment dealer for online businesses where you can do trading online. And most recently, hello?
Hello.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Keep going. Simon, please, would you mute your call, please? Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Please go on, sir.
So that's fine. Sorry for that. So I was saying lately from Mauritius, you can also do what is now very popular in the world is around cryptocurrency and virtual asset, where you've got proper legislations in Mauritius that can cater for crypto transactions. But obviously, it's quite new and still working progress at the level of the jurisdiction. So in a nutshell, Mauritius, as an offshore jurisdiction, actually wants to attract more and more investors to set up here. And the beauty of having this setup in Mauritius, it allows you also to apply for residency in Mauritius. So you can actually work, live. You can live, work in Mauritius by having the permit, the residence permit that you want. It can be either as an investor. You come here as an investor. The permit gives you 3 to 10 years of residency in Mauritius. It's renewable. It can be converted into permanent residency. You can come here as a professional. You're employed by a company here. Again, it's 3 to 10 years. You can have it. Or if you're above 55 years old, you want to retire in a beautiful country, nice beaches, while doing business. So there's also, you can retire in Mauritius. I can tell you right now, Mr. Chairman will know precisely how Mauritius is attracting more and more retired person, and those may be high net worth individuals who want to retire and at the same time have a company, have the structures in a jurisdiction that they feel safe, and they can be here in Mauritius present, looking after the company and also enjoying their retirement. So from my side, what we do as a licensed management company from the Financial Services Commission in Mauritius, so we are regulated. Our job is basically to help facilitate the setup of your structure in Mauritius. So obviously it's not straightforward because we need to understand clearly what you want to do. And from there, we advise you what is the right structure to put in place, how to do it, how to mitigate your taxes, etc. So we advise what is the most optimal structure for you to meet your business need. And from there, once we've agreed on what sort of structure you need in Mauritius, then the whole process of setting up ongoing administration, the full back office work, ranging from accounting, taxation, advisory, legal, you name it, is done from Mauritius, from us. And your focus is solely on actually growing your business and making the money. So this is what Mauritius is about, roughly in a nutshell, in summary, what we do. And we encourage you all to learn more about the Mauritius International Financial Center and all the advantages that it can provide for your company and why you should actually structure in Mauritius. So that I won't go more into that. Maybe if there are questions later on, I'll pick up on that. But that's it for now, Mr. Chairman.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Odin. Thank you so very much. Jennifer, I think Dr. Mary, by the way, questions will come again. I know some of you are itching to ask questions from these people from Mauritius. Glorious goodies over there. So we welcome you to do that right after Jennifer opens the floor. Jennifer, I'd like to let you know, Dr. Mary seems to be out of station, but I think he's been represented by, is that you, Mr. Onyori? Simon Muketa, are you representing Dr. Mary? Please unmute your microphone.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. You get me now?
Yes. Are you representing Dr. Mary, please?
Yes, I represent Dr. Eris Meridinga, who is currently in Yaoundé, but very busy with a lot of audiences with government officials. He has a couple of them, so that's why he couldn't. Right now, she's in an audience with the special advisor to the Prime Minister of Cameroon on the event that we're organizing on April. So yeah, that's why I represent her on this. Yeah, I represent her on this.
Please. I'd like you to go right ahead and represent. Dr. Mary was supposed to say a little bit about doing business in Cameroon and that part of Central Africa a little bit. If you want to go right ahead with a few minutes. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Greetings to everybody, and I want to send you guys a very warm greeting from Cameroon. As you know, Cameroon is also called Africa in miniature because it's a country with a little bit more than 30 million inhabitants and almost 20 million active inhabitants, a population that's very active at that level, a very, very youthful population. We just did a junior entrepreneur conference and investors conference. We'll be having one again in December, 19th of December. There's a lot of opportunities, and the government is well open to really welcome investors and facilitate and also secure investment in Cameroon. That's why she's in Yaoundé. For that, we started a close working relationship. Emi Empire, we work very, very, very closely with the top government at the top, at the presidency of Cameroon, at the prime minister, which we are very, very close to. and who is very, very supportive to any business opportunities linked in Cameroon or with other countries in Cameroon. I think we had an audience with somebody from Mauritius 10 days ago with the Prime Minister and somebody from Russia. I mean, our Mauritius person Sijen can testify. The warm welcome that the PM, the Cameroon Prime Minister, gave to him and told him that it was possible to do a lot of stuff, and that the government in Cameroon is very ready to see about the visa issue, reduction of the visa for Mauritius who are coming into Cameroon. So today in Cameroon, as the economic power of the CAC region, that's including Sao Tome and Principe and all the 6 central region, including DRC, because most of their products pass through the Cameroon ports to get into all the other countries. So Cameroon is at the heart of the development of the Central African nation. So we want to really present these opportunities, and we are very grateful that the government is very, very open and have confidence in us, and have confidence in Dr. Harris in the vision that she has showed us so far as bringing investors in Cameroon. As I said, we did it already at the 14th of last month in Hilton Hotel. And so the government was there, the Prime Minister was represented, the government was represented at the highest level. We had 14 ministers who were present. And this shows that Cameroon is very open and want to really do all the necessary facilitations to get investment, and also to get those who want to work in Cameroon to have all the installation facilitations so that they can get into Cameroon, settle in Cameroon, and do business. So really, Cameroon today is in that phase. I think also like many African countries, but since Cameroon has a vital economic role in the CEMAC region as being the economic power, even in terms of opportunities, even in terms of the cost and a lot of stuff. There are a lot of opportunities that Cameroon offers as a hub, and also as the population that is there. If you want to, I mean, we are the most populated country in this part of in Central Africa and in the CAC countries. So in that case, there is a lot to do, and we are really working on that and really ready to facilitate, to do all the necessary facilitation, because we have the confidence of the government. They trust us. We have been doing it for many years now, and they trust Dr. Harris for all what she has been doing to really drive the young entrepreneurs, also drive the economy towards the top. So, but we have Cameroon today, and Dr. Harris has a very African view of the economy. I think this is very, very vital for us today. We have to see how we can build a chain of economy among us. There are things that Mauritius can do that Cameroon cannot do. I mean, so we have to see how is it possible for us today to build a very strong economic strength today, because today the distance is not a problem. Distance, of course, is an opportunity that we should use and lean on. It's no more a difficulty. So I think today we really have to look into that opportunity that gives Cameroon very open to build that chain between the other African countries, because that's where we have to go to, you know. Like we always say, when you get to the airport in Cameroon or other countries, when you see the planes that are the aircraft that are landing into the country, when you look at the passengers that are coming out, they are all foreigners coming to invest or coming to see what is going on. And when you check the way out, most of those who are leaving are not the locals. So we have to find a way to reverse this, so that there should really be a serious traffic between the African countries. And it must not be all the 54. We just need about a couple of leading countries that are ready to pull the train, and then the rest will flow at the end of the day, because they are going to see that there is a lot of seriousness, there's a lot of consistency, there's a lot of efficiency, and definitely these guys are ready to pull Africa to the top. So I think that's where we are today, and that's why I think for us meeting in a format like this, in a platform like this, for us to see how we can link the best that we have for now, so that we can try to pull towards the top, because that was has been the most difficult thing, getting the best to meet together and try to really lean on each one's expertise and what they put on the table, so that we can really take the continent to the top. So I think on that part, that's where Dr. Harris is today with the vision and the project. And I think we are all on this same direction, because we know the future definitely is in the African continent. we have a more African thinking, not only Cameroon, but more African thinking, and also having some leadership nations, because everybody can get up at the same time. But today we have identified some nations who are ready. They are ready to pull. They are ready to serve. They are ready to serve as a bridge, that bridge that we need to go to do the crossover. So we have a couple of nations like that who are ready at the top level of it, because if the politics is ready, then they can put down all the facilities for business to hold. And today, that's where we are, and we're happy that most of the leadership are very, very receptive to this situation. And we also have a lot of entrepreneurs who are in the diaspora who are willing to come back and to participate. We have some of them coming back to really build put their second structure in Africa, to move into Africa. So, I mean, that's what I think we have to move on today. Today is we have to see, how do we build forward? How do we work together? How do we develop this African working space in such a way that everybody gets something interesting for their country, but also there's a free circulation of opportunities. I mean, of opportunities, being job opportunities, business opportunities, facilitation, so that we can really pull at the same level. So that's so far. That's what I want to put in for now, and then we can see how we can move forward from there. Thanks for listening to me.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nyori. Thank you very much. A worthy representation for Dr. Mary, and thank you so much for what you put together for the team. Jennifer, over to you. There are questions in the link, but I'll send it over to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, David. Thank you to our guests, speakers, and our panelists. Really appreciate it. Before we get into our Q&A, because I have a lot of questions, and I'm trying to see on my trip to SA if I can stop in Mauritius and open up my business account while I'm there on the continent. But I want to first highlight every week while we are doing our Power Hour, we always look to highlight one of our members. And today, I am looking to highlight our member who is the founder of the Originators TV, Mr. Keith Bates. And I want to give Keith a couple minutes to introduce himself, talk about what he is doing and what he is looking for in collaboration with our GOC members, and how GOC can support him and his business. And then once Keith has presented his company, we will go into Q&A. We have about 9 minutes, and I want to be very, very respectful of everybody's day and time, as we are all business owners and have things to get to. So do we have Keith here?
Hi, Jennifer. How are you doing? Yes, I'm on the line.
Wonderful,
thank you very much
Keith.
for having me
How
on
are
this.
you?
I'm great, thanks.
Wonderful, Keith. I'm
Yeah,
going to give you
cool.
the floor.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Thanks. Hello, everyone on the line. I'm not going to take up too much of your time. My name is Keith. I'm based in Johannesburg, South Africa, where I run a creative agency called Originators. I'm also a member of the Atlanta Black Chambers because I do business between the US, primarily at Atlanta and Philadelphia, as well as Johannesburg. So Originators, the company that I run, is a holistic creative services company that combines an ad agency's rigor and creativity with the speed and flexibility of a modern production studio. That results in an efficient and prolific content marketing engine that powers business results for international brands. Some of the global clients that we service are Paramount Africa, NBA Africa, to mention a few, and a lot of other local African brands as well. And how we can, collaborate together. If you are looking to, tap into the African market, we have the expertise of creating marketing assets that can capture the heart and mind, of the African mass market. So we've been doing this for 9+ years now. So we're very much within the industry, and we're very much globally focused, but very much rooted on the African continent in Johannesburg, South Africa. So looking forward to making connections with the global committee. And thanks, Ricardo, for letting me know about this meeting. And thank you very much for having me. And my details are on the chat for the meeting. So hopefully we can connect and collaborate. Appreciate your time.
Thank you so much, Keith. I do implore all of our members to take an opportunity to reach out to Keith directly. This is an opportunity where you can potentially promote your business with access both on the continent and here in the US. always take advantage of the resources and the partnerships opportunity that we have with our members first before you go looking elsewhere. Because when you work through the GOC, you are working with business owners who have the same sentiments and are as goal-minded as you are. And I always say, look home first, look within your own family. And GOC, we are a family here. We are a global family. And I want to make sure that we are taking care of each other. And at this moment, what I would love for everyone to do, if you have questions for our panelists or our spotlight guest member, please raise your hand so that we can call on you. I know I saw a lot of activities within the chat. I saw information being shared within our organization about prospective businesses, as well as discussions on how we can raise funds to do business in Mauritius, as well as capturing opportunities within the continent. So if you have a question for any of our panelists, please raise your hand. Let's keep our questions brief, but quickly introduce yourself and ask your questions. Make sure that you are highlighting the panelists or guest spot highlighter that we have here. I'm trying to give, oh, Claudine, there you are, Claudine. Thank you. You have the floor, Claudine.
Thank you very much, Jennifer. And thank you to the panelists. Really, really insightful discussions and points about doing business in Mauritius. So I am a former United Kingdom Cabinet Office or Social Enterprise Ambassador. I currently am an industry advisor. I advise the banks and the education system institutions here in the UK. And I'm looking for opportunities around personal and professional development in that particular space. So my question is, where are, or do you have a pool of entrepreneurs that we can connect with in order to faster leverage those opportunities? So what I'm looking at is, rather than coming and starting from the beginning, potentially there could be local partners in any of the respective locations that we can work with local partners in order to accelerate the speed of which we can generate business. I'm not sure if that's yourself, David.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to let the two panelists comment from Mauritius, then I'll give you a little summary about what I think. Thank you. Mr. Junaid, you want to go first, then we hear from Sivan.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for the question. Absolutely. There are various associations and communities within Mauritius, whether it's from a trading perspective or from an entrepreneurial perspective or from a fintech perspective. They group all the entrepreneurs in Mauritius, the existing businesses, and you've got to register for that. And basically, if you want to just invest into those businesses, those existing businesses who perform well, you can always be in touch with them and learn about their business and also invest from there. Sometimes you're right. There are two ways. Either you start afresh with your own company in Mauritius, or you join existing ones in Mauritius to do your business. So both ways work in Mauritius, and I can easily put you into contact with those communities where you can talk and see what you can do with them.
Thank you. I think that would be really helpful, because I think one of the ways that we can accelerate the growth opportunity is around connecting with local partners, and that way it feels like a win-win for everybody. So that's really helpful. My contact details are in the chat, so I'd love to reach out to you on LinkedIn, and then we can potentially carry on the conversation. Thank you.
If you missed that, I know where his house is. If you missed that, I can locate you right there. Mr. Sivan, do you have something to say to that effect, or should I just jump into it? Your microphone is muted, sir.
Sorry, thank you. I think my friend Udin has well mentioned that in Mauritius, you have a number of options, and we have very good structured SME, medium-sized enterprises, big enterprises, and we have one thing is known to Mauritius is known for his hospitality. So, and we are very welcoming to collaborate and work together, right? My contact detail also is available with our friend David Job. So I am really very willing to help because I am also the president of the Asian African Chamber of Commerce, and our members, our people here are just willing to help because it could be a good thing to join together so that you manage the time for growth in your business.
Well, thank you very much, Honorable. And everybody can reach out to this gentleman. What I want to say is that I'm uniquely positioned as, you know, within these two regions, Central Africa and the Indian Ocean Islands. There is one thing that tickles my mind when Mauritius is here and the Central African is regard to your Ms. Reed, to your question. There is a fund in Mauritius. I don't know. Maybe we'll get a little bit, you know, some extra ideas about it. And I think Shanta would like to hear this. There is a fund in Mauritius called the Mauritius Africa Fund. Now, the modalities are quite complex, but I think it's something that we could leverage on as the GOC to see how, you know, we can work together to see how Mauritius and Africa, or in this case, forgive me, for Mauritius and Central Africa, in this case, could see how, you know, how this could be nurtured into a working relationship to build that fund. Could we utilize what is already in Mauritius to capitalize on what maybe Shanta, you were proposing about something about crowdfunding to make sure that, because these opportunities being there also require some kind of engine, a financial engine to get done. Is this something that we could discover? And to that effect, I want to invite you, come see Mr. Sivan in Mauritius and Junaid, and we can work out an SPV or structure, something that could actually work to see how, you know, we could leverage this misread if this could help. So not just the contacts, you don't want to just have the contacts, but you would also have an opportunity to unite, to join hands financially to see that you can actually execute something there. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That's really helpful. Really love the answers. Again, my contact details, my LinkedIn details are in the chat. So happy to take carry on the conversation offline.
Thank you so much. So we have a couple people who have their hands up, and I want to make sure that we continue to honor people's time. It is 9:30. I will maintain the room open so that we can continue for at least another 10 minutes for those that have questions, if our panelists and guests are available. And I see Seydou, you have a question, and then Janari.
Should I go in?
Yes, go
Good morning,
ahead.
everyone. Thank you, Jennifer. I appreciate. Thank you, David, my brother. Always impactful. So I appreciate totally the insight. The panelists, welcome, and then thank you for your insight. My background, obviously, I'm in the IT field, telecommunication, and in cybersecurity. So I have also served in the U.S. military for 22 years and retired from that. So for the statement that Mr. Odin was making about retirement and then the possibility to open businesses in the Mauritius, so I'm definitely interested in that. I had already been looking into that as a diaspora member, and then also I have traveled to Mauritius last year. Because I already have partners there, but I'm growing partners, obviously, with this group here as well. So my intent is to open shop next year, and then I'm planning that right now. But and then also do the partnership that Claudine was mentioning, and which is also key, because all of those African areas that were mentioned, I have already traveled there individually. But also with different partnership opportunities, and then it is key to come together and then go after many of those opportunities. So everything that was mentioned here, I just wanted to key on that, and then I thank for the insight. And I wanted to ask you questions in reference to the particulars in Mr. Odin's statement as far as the support structure to create the business. if you can just touch on that really quick, I would appreciate that. But outside of this meeting, I plan on reaching out with David as well, so we can set up a meeting individually to talk about that.
Absolutely. Thank you. More than happy to guide you on how to structure the business in Mauritius, and how, depending on your business line, what is the required corporate structure that you need. It's not only from a corporate structure, but you can also structure from a wealth, asset protection, wealth preservation perspective, where if you got a business, a family business, and you want to protect the asset of that company for your family, for your children, this can also be structured in Mauritius, and we do advise on that as well.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you. That's very important, because I know I've lived in various African countries, and I know when a situation changes and in a new government, they've been grabbing people's business in the past. So, and then I have clients that are very wary about those situations. So I know Mauritius offer a different deal when it comes to that, and there's a security there. So that's good to know. Thank you.
Yeah, happy to tell you more. Maybe you can connect off.
Absolutely,
offline.
we will. Thanks. Thank you for your time.
Pleasure.
So I'll let Janari go. If you have any questions still.
Yes, thank you so much. My name is Janody McCormack, and I am the founder of Creative House Consulting, a project management consulting firm. And this was very, very insightful. I really appreciated all of the information you all shared. My question is based around the key industries that you all currently are seeking international collaboration and investment with. I noticed that you mentioned hospitality, but are there any other key industries that you all are currently seeking? And then I also have a question about land. Is it possible to own land outright in any of these countries as an American citizen?
Thank you so much, Ms. Jennifer. If you let me, I'd like to start from far away in Central Africa to answer that question. This is the last one. But what I will say is my presentation was very clear in the infrastructure development, energy or green energy, agriculture, and a few others. That's where the key is: financial services and mineral processing. That's a good place to start. Mr. Sven also spoke of an African deficit in affordable housing. That's $1 trillion industry right there. And if you can reach into that's a very good. I'm just being as brief as possible. Of course, the IT sector, that's where we are. Mr. Saidu can tell us more independently about that, but it is there. If Dr. If Mr. Gentleman from Cameroon, if Mr. Simon wants to say specific industries which are key and available to do that in just a minute, that'd be great. Before I throw the ball back to Mauritius, because Mauritius, as far as I know, is endless. Mr. Sven as well can tell you about the real estate and the hospitality industry. It's robust. It's vast there. Mr. Junai could tell you about the financial services industry. It is robust. But let me stop here and throw it over to Mr. Simon.
Mukete.
Go ahead, please.
Thanks. Happy to welcome you back. It's very interesting so far. I've learned a lot. I think for Cameroon is there are a lot of sectors where a lot can be done. I think Mr. Senjo was in Cameroon few days ago, and he had the opportunity to meet with a lot of business people and entrepreneurs, and he saw with himself and he touched with his hands all the opportunities that offers Cameroon. I think there are very key sectors where there is a lot to do. You just said it already. I think in the agricultural sector, there is a lot that can be done as well. And Cameroon offers a lot of facilities because to get a land, it's possible to get a land. It's not complicated for foreigners to own a land in Cameroon. So there is the government gives facilities on that. So it's possible to own. You have a lot of multinationals or entrepreneurs who come in and then they try to set their businesses from Cameroon. also the real estate part is also booming very well in Cameroon now, and we have a lot of sister cities options that are coming up. But the real estate part is there's a lot to be done there, Also, and then the IT sector is also a lot of opportunities. The educational sector, higher education. I mean, we have a very landed literal youth in Cameroon. You have schools all over everywhere. So these are the key sectors where it's possible. But for somebody settling a business in Cameroon, the facilities are there. It takes maximum 2 days to 3 days to set up your business. The whole process is there, with all what goes with that. And also, there's also a possibility of tax payment being held in the beginning. So there are a lot of excitement that the government has put in place to make sure that they will get business people coming into Cameroon and try to really settle. And particularly, the African diaspora has a special treatment when it comes to business opening in Cameroon. So there's all the Afro diaspora have a special treatment when it comes into doing business in Cameroon. So the government is really the atmosphere is really on that aspect. And I think I will just hold it there for now. But just to say, for the land issue, it is possible to get it done. All the facilitation are there for business to be done in Cameroon. So that's I will just hold there for now. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. Your call. If Junaid and Steven could get a go about the land issue and available opportunities, it's up to you. Your call.
So again, I have to jump off for another meeting, and I know others have. I definitely want to be able to continue this conversation, but I think more importantly, we want to make sure that the proper contacts are shared from our panelists. So that we can have the direct communications for those who are interested in doing business, whether it's in Mauritius or Cameroon, and exploring opportunities. So if we can make sure, David, that the contacts for our panelist guests are available. I know Shanta had a lot of communications within the chat, so I want to give her a quick minute. But we definitely do need to close off. And I want to make sure that we continue this conversation offline, because I think there's a huge opportunity of investments and business growth that we should all consider, because I'm sure there are others who have a keen eye in those areas, and we want to make sure that we take advantage. Shanta, you still there? Did you want to ask a question?
Well, Brand Rising, yes, thank you so much, Jennifer. And no, I actually don't have a question, but I wanted to make a statement or a comment and hopefully ignite something. But first of all, let me thank GOC leadership, yourself, Ricardo, and also Samuel and Natalie, those who have been, leading this ship. And thank you to our guests today. I am Her Royal Majesty Queen Shantae Lene Hereford. And as I was stating in the chat box about the opportunity to raise funds, I think that, and I'll be as quick as possible. I believe that the challenge for many of us in the communities in the global Black community is the amount of investment that is needed to invest in some of these sectors. And so I just wanted to put that bug in the ear that by coming together, pulling our resources, our networks, and our technical expertise, we could lead a raise to raise the funds where we could start investing in these opportunities internationally as a collective and open up the opportunities, not just to our members in the GOC, but to the members in the ABC and also the global Black community. So just want to hopefully ignite something, because the more the merrier, of course, with crowdfunding, because without a crowd, there's no funding. And I believe that it's just a great and powerful tool that is mostly overlooked when it comes to finance. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shantae. Again, I want to say thank you to everyone for joining us on our Power Hour, and to our esteemed guests, panelists from Mauritius and Cameroon, and David, who is our regional lead in this area for putting together such an excellent panel of speakers who have shared some very valuable information and opportunities that we need to consider here at GOC. Thank you again to our team, Natalie, Samuel, Katina, and want to send safe travels to our fearless leader, Ricardo Betis, on his travels down to South Africa. He's on his way to Joburg. And I want to make sure that we all send well wishes to him. And also, again, thank you all for joining. We are looking forward to seeing you again next week at our Power Hour with our new panel regional lead and panelists who will be speaking more on a different part of Africa for us to consider in doing business. You all have a wonderful day. Happy Wednesday. Have a wonderful evening, afternoon, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jennifer.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you very much. Have a great one. Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Simon.
Thank you, David. Salute.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you, Honorable.